You're listening to Agile Ideas, the podcast, hosted by Fatima Abuchi. For anyone listening out there not having a good day, please know there is help out there. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Agile Ideas. I'm Fatima, CEO at PMO, Mental Health Ambassador, and your host. Today's episode is well and truly long overdue. And the reason for this is because this lovely lady that we're going to be speaking to today is someone that has an absolute heart of gold that I've had the privilege of knowing for quite a while now, after she and I met at an event in Melbourne when she was down here from Sydney and just kicked it off. And ever since then, we've been collaborating and connecting and speaking, and it's been a real pleasure knowing her. So please let me introduce you to Amireh Amirmazaheri. Amireh is a visionary leader in project, program, and portfolio management with 20 years of international experience across the Middle East and Asia Pacific. As CEO of PMO Solutions and chair of the GPMF 2025, she is known for driving strategic transformation through human-centered tech-enabled solutions. She serves as the APAC Hub Lead and Advisory Board Member at PMO Global Alliance and is recognized for bridging strategy and execution, empowering PMOs to deliver sustainable impact. Her approach blends systems thinking, digital innovation, and creative leadership to align purpose, people, and performance. It's going to be a fun conversation. So please join me in welcoming Amireh to the show. Amireh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Fatima, for having me.
I was saying just before I was recording your bio that we have been meaning to do this for a very, very long time, and it's finally here. Two busy
Fine.
women never finding the time to meet and actually talk in person. So hopefully we
Absolutely.
get to do this many more times as well.
Yeah, that's always a pleasure to be connected, to work with you and sharing the stage with you.
And if you remember where we met, it was a few years ago, and I remember because I was at a conference in Melbourne that you came down to be to have an exhibition at. And I remember you just like smiled at me and waved, and we didn't know each other, and I just thought, oh, this person's so lovely. And I was, it was ever since then. I think we've just stayed connected. It's great to be surrounded by other powerful women that are
Thank
making
you.
waves in this industry. So let's get into it. I want to start with your background because you obviously are very deep in this PMO project transformation space, but that's not where you started. Where did you start? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Um, Fatima, like I don't know when did I start what, but getting into the professional journey, my journey started when I think I was 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. So it was a time um, that I started teaching what I was learning. So my first journey, my first kind of like a working with outside a stakeholder, with external stakeholders and a real customer was on when the time I started to be a tutor. Um, Before that, I had in-house and internal stakeholders, so I had responsibility of managing like a spring cleaning of the house or having different people coming in, coming out. Or it was a big event, I was kind of like a person who was connecting the dots together. Um, then by starting like teaching and sharing the knowledge, that was mainly with the purpose of learning and more learning of what I learned in the classroom. So my dad analogy was if you want to learn, if you want to pass the exam, so teach it. And he was true because everyone who I was teaching to had a lot to share and had a different perspective of the knowledge. So that was a time that I learned to listen to, and I learned to convert complexity to simplicity. Um, then my entrepreneurial journey um, started from the time that it was internet and I was working in a university and nobody else had internet, even those, the modem, dialing modem. And you're not supposed, although you know my age, but you're not supposed to count it now. Um, so I started from the time that I was downloading the model for the flower bucket on the floppy disk and walking around to the flower shop and selling those floppy disks to them. So that was a time that I had to market to be able to sell something, and then also empowering those shops to just getting out of their comfort zone and market what they had to their customers. That is something new and some models from the internet. Then I started my bachelor degree in computer hardware engineering. Um, Along the way, I was also working while I was studying. Then I got to the workforce, the formal workforce, very quickly. Um, and that was after 9 years working so hard with specifically in the oil and energy industry. My journey from very purely IT technical and a technology side delve into the project management, and I started my journey with Primavera Global, supporting all the enterprise and mega projects across the Middle East region. And the time that I moved to Australia, I was kind of like on the other side of the fence, designing and implementing enterprise systems. So I got my master's degree in IT with a focus on designing and setting up enterprise business systems. So when I'm talking about system, I'm not talking only about a technology, I'm talking about the whole connecting the dots and shaping up and orchestration. And that was like, yeah, the seeding of the PMO space started a long time ago from mainly enabling and empowering and leading people um, to get into that discipline and organization. Yeah, that was the starting point.
It's so interesting because when you listen to that background, you're like, it's so like so far now from where you started to what you're doing now, and we'll get into that in a minute. But one of the things that really is a challenge for a lot of people is when they go out of an operational type of environment. For those listening that are not clear what I mean, like your IT role, HR, finance, etc. So operational business as usual, and then moving into projects. So how did you initially identify what projects or project management was? Did you fall into it? Were you seeking it out? How did you actually make the connection that that is different to business as usual?
So the thing is like, even in the IT, now I know I don't know about the other operational function in depth, but I can say at the time, specifically in IT, you are also an enabler function. So specifically for the businesses which are set based on enterprise project, based on giga mega projects, which are the like a bone and blood of the business. IT is sitting as an enabler again. Um, One of the things that we normally see, and it's very common in IT world as well, is a differentiated between the IT and the business.
Mm-hmm.
But we can see when you are in it, you can see that IT is part of the business anyway. It is part of the legs and hands of the business to make it moving. Um, but on the other side, when they were talking about managing the project and delivering that project, I'm not saying I was the person who was hands on to managing those projects, but I always were playing a role of the enabler and a facilitator
Mm-hmm.
of not only technology level, but also system level, but also methodology level. And when
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about methodology, is not about initiating, planning, design, and not the project management framework. I'm talking about a way of working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my main I started from the big picture of the IT and then
Mm-hmm.
architecture, the networking architecture mainly were on Cisco and Microsoft. One of the biggest achievement at the time that we had was we connected 16 valves, oil valves across the whole country to one single centralized location. So our CEO was able to see um, the status of the valves on his wall in his room.
Mm-hmm.
So for having such a thing at that time, like I'm talking about how many years ago? Like about 30 years ago, which was like the outlook was new. They were talking about firewalls, like Yahoo Messenger was around. So we had to block Yahoo Messenger in our network. That was um, that needed a very good enabler function to look at the business elements and connect it together. My takeaway of that is the operational part of the business is the enabler part of the business, is the one that is putting the bones
Yes.
um, and the structure and the foundation of the business to move and be able to look at those change, look at those projects to be able to deliver that. And if these two are not connected and if this is a gap between them, that is not the wheels are not working together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so my journey was exactly in that middle. So connecting the technology side to the force that we were so deep into project management. You know, in oil and energy and engineering, project management is super technical.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not dive into that technicality. I was mainly sitting as a layer to enable those technical knowledge to support the success of the project. And when I'm talking about a project, that was like a huge project. It was actually the whole company was built around that big mega project.
And
Um,
that nicely links into transformation,
exactly.
which people throw around all the time now. And there's different, I guess, different ways of describing transformation depending on the project, the company, the maturity, what you've described there in that sort of industry around utilities and energy or mining and some of these really complex transformation is very different to what you would see maybe in a small medium sized business. So when you think about that conduit that you played between that really sings to how PMO at its heart comes into it, and really I can see where the skills transfer. So when did you first, I guess, learn about what PMO was, and really understood it? And because that's something that is, not commonly referred to. So where in your journey did you fall in love with PMO and find out what it could do for businesses?
Finding out what the function of the PMO is, right?
Yeah, and falling in love with it as you have.
Um, I, I think normally, like, when from the very early age, I was always a person who likes to set the scene, organize, make the things happen, moving it forward, um, getting the idea of where we want to get to and make that idea happen. So always a person like to do what I was saying. Um, and I was so like committed to my words. Um, when I came to Australia, I was moved from like the region as a person who was working dedicated to Primavera. So I moved to Australia, and my amazing, loved first manager in Australia that I owe him a lot. And I would love always to remember him as a person that the first person in Australia who trusted me and gave me the stage to show my strength. And unfortunately, I lost him, Wayne Wilson. I talk about him several times. Um, so he trusted me, and he put me forward in Australian industry as a Primavera consultant. So our job was mainly to embed into the Australian business and then implement that project control system for them. And then after that, I got appointed to a project in Leighton Contractor, which was a CPB. And my second amazing manager, as Robert Turner. I was working with him, and the function that we had, and my role specifically, was to take care of the very, like, actually, we had the largest um, enterprise of Primavera in the whole Australia and New Zealand. And I was taking care of that part. And our whole group was the one that we were enabling um, other project controls and the projects that was at the time with Leighton Contractor. That was the time that I got more familiar with the concept as a name of the PMO. But I was always arguing that, hey, I am not a business analyst because I did the certification of PMI, PBA. I actually was one of the first one that I got that certification, which is great. It is talking about facilitation. It's talking about finding the requirements, asking the right question, how to connect people together, how to understand the different people needs, which was very aligned with what I was learning when I was teaching as well, because I'm also a certified trainer in project management. So we learn a lot of psychological, things to understand how to communicate and how to convey the message. That was the time that I was saying, like, we are not a business analyst, but we are sitting between the the wheels. And then Robert was always saying that you are the oil between the wheels. I said, like, what is this function? This function is not, we are not managing project. We are not
Mm-hmm.
controlling a project. We are not IT. We are not BA. So what it is. And then that was the time that I was looking at and got the concept of the PMO, which, if you remember, um, the PMO journey started from that project management office things, the admin of stuff. So that was the time. And then because of my role within Leighton Contractor, I really loved it because, like, you know, I don't know, Fatima, but like when you see that, like, people are coming to you and then they follow the things and you see that orchestration
Mm-hmm.
and you see that big picture that the things are working
Mm-hmm.
together, that's very pleasing and
Yep.
very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the backbone of all of these are the people.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like, and the people are never getting boring, right? It's always something new you're learning in connecting the dots together. So that's why the specific tag name of my expertise land on the PMO space mainly.
It's such a beautiful story. First of all, sorry about losing Wayne.
Hmm.
But it's so great to see just how you light up. You're one of the most passionate people I know in the project management office space. For those that don't know what PMO stands for, and you just light up talking about it. So it's amazing to see that. Um, I want to go back to so your first manager in Australia. You said something really important. You said the first person that trusted you.
Yes.
So there's people here today that are we're going to be listening to this thinking about maybe they're early in their career or maybe they're transitioning into a different part of their career. And perhaps one of the things that they could benefit from is how did you build that trust with someone? And what would you recommend for them if they want to become that trusted, I guess, trusted partner? And over time, like you've become a trusted advisor to a lot of companies, how do you build the trust so that people like Wayne trusted you to get the job done?
Um, trust is a relationship. It's a two-way relationship. It's a like a 50-50 relationship. Um, it is, and then I actually really like this subject. Building the trust is one of my favorite subjects. specifically in the leadership, because the trust is changing. Like that was I saw a comic, and then the girl was saying like, show me your Instagram um, chat. And then she was showing, show me your Facebook chat. And then she was showing, show me your emails. She was showing, and then all the text messages. And then they asked me, like, show me your chat GPT conversation. And then she ran out. So you see that, like, we are getting to the point that now we are trusting an AI agent, and we are saying everything to it. So if you're looking at that journey, we can see even the trust is changing its shape, right? And always make this example like 10 years ago, would you trust a strange person from another country booking his like or her house and going there and staying in that house and paying that person? So it
Mm-hmm.
is like, look at that, how human
Mm-hmm.
is evolving as well. Um, but at the end of the day, when you are looking at that trust, is to be true, um, and to be to your word are the elements of the trust.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, like saying, presenting, modeling the thing that you truly believe, and repeating that. It's all about creating that momentum and then showing that I am this, with all the goods and the bads.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not good. I talk to you a lot about, like, we talk and chat together. So you see that, like, the other day, the lady called me and said, "How are you?" And one of the customer service for my car, and then she said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm not good." Like, so it's just to be true to the words. And at the end of the day, all of us are human. I would love to use this stage and invite people um, to reflect on themselves, that how much are you executing of your words and your beliefs. And on the other side, for the people who has the stage, who has the power, who are
Mm-hmm.
sitting in a place that they are making a decision, is truly open your eyes into the people who are coming to you with a true heart,
Mm-hmm.
um, and trust those ones that they are saying, I do it for you. I make this happen. Because if you don't trust those people, if you don't give them the stage, um, will not have the opportunity to shine. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very interesting when I was talking to Wayne, and I told him, like, I never forget that you trusted me on a day that so many people, with that resume that I brought with myself from Iran, if it was me myself now, I wouldn't recruit that person. I wouldn't put that person in front of the customer. So he trusted me, and that trust gave me power to stand up and do my best no matter what is happening. And
Mm-hmm.
he was always there, even if I made a mistake. So give that, not only yourself saying, like, I don't know everything, but whatever I know, I will do my best. And the person who is making a decision, the other side of the equation, let the people to make a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
let them to shine, and that is going to make you shine as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a two-way things, which I don't know how we can formulate it, but this is only my thinking.
It's good point because I don't think there's necessarily a formula or a model because if you're being true to yourself, then really it should shine through. I resonate a lot with how your relationship was with your manager and like you said the trust factor there because if I think back to a number of instances in my career, there are definitely moments where I didn't think I was equipped or well suited perfectly to a position or a role, but because the people that I was dealing with maybe saw passion, like I see your passion, or maybe they see what you described around walking the walk and talking the talk, they then give you that opportunity because they believe that you're going to stick to your word. So I
Yes.
definitely think that sometimes it's not about your years of experience, but it's how people see you and experience you and how you make them feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like I ran a survey in LinkedIn, which was about, I was curious about to find out like what makes the customer retention high. Um, I'm so proud and also humble to say like in PMO solution we have over 95% customer retention. And I was just like curious to see like how people are seeing it out there. That is it because the experience that they are receiving, or because of the service they are receiving, because of the relationship, of what is that? And then it was very interesting that the majority was saying because of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, that's that experience that matter. And then that is the main thing that makes PMO successful as well.
Mm-hmm.
To how you are defining what exactly you're doing and what pain you're fixing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that main little trick from PMO Squad survey last year in 2024. We can see that 64% of the PMOs are not able, like, are actually challenging, demonstrating their values, which is lying down in that way of like creating that trust, creating that momentum, creating that experience with your customers in the business. So yeah.
It's so easy for people to throw the word value around. Value, value,
Oh
value.
yeah.
And honestly, sometimes it's said so much, as long as you provide value. And it's like, what's value?
What
Value is in
value
the eye of
is.
the beholder. Yeah, it's very easy to just throw because it's not measurable, right? Like realistically, unless you've got metrics around it. So maybe on that point, I'm keen to get your thoughts on maybe if you were assessing whether a PMO was doing a good job, be it the person leading and or the outputs of the function itself. What would be the two or three things that you would advise an executive? Pay attention to these two or three things, and that will help you guide whether your PMO is doing a good job.
Um, Fatima, have you like ever been in a doctor and they're asking you out of 1 to 10, how much is painful? And you're
Mm,
saying, oh, 10, I'm dying, right? And then after they are doing something, you're saying, okay, they are saying out of 1 to 10 because they want to measure, like they want to have some kind of like a odometer on it to say, like, okay, what is the pain? And you're saying it is 5. So
mm-hmm,
this is a 50% pain reduction,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
This is the experience that you had with that um, treatment journey. So that is the value that that treatment journey brought to you.
mm.
The thing
And
is, like, we are making it too complicated. I'm
yes,
hearing that, like, oh, the value is the profit that we are making. The
yeah,
value is that. The value is, but like, yes, but is the challenge of that business is to make profit
mm-hmm,
or is to get into more customer
mm-hmm,
or to just stay where it is, like
mm-hmm,
just continue doing what it is.
mm-hmm,
So we need to create that language. Say like, okay, out of 1 to 10, but being consistent in our range of measurement, being consistent of how we are talking to them and
mm-hmm,
how we are creating and establishing that experience.
mm.
So value is, yeah, you're right. Everybody's talking value, and then you're asking them, okay, what is value?
Yes,
They're like, hey, it's just ask.
mm-hmm,
What do you
mm-hmm,
want from me? Why do you want me here?
mm-hmm,
What if I'm not here? Remember, it actually one of the conversation that we had together, and I think it was long time ago, and you mentioned that, and it's always in my head. And I asked this question actually, and I always bring your name in as well. Um, just remove what you're doing. Just turn off the
mm-hmm,
report that you're putting on.
mm-hmm.
And if nobody is coming and asking you,
Get rid of it.
where is it? It
Ex
doesn't add any value, right? So
exactly,
this
exactly.
is this is the way you are talking about the value. The value can be your commitment.
Mm-hmm,
So when you are talking about walk the talk,
mm-hmm.
is your commitment that you're putting in actually your baseline? And
Yeah.
are you delivering based on the baseline or a commitment that you had?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So um, that is the value, right? This is a
Mm-hmm.
formula in earned value in
Yeah.
project. We
Yep.
are looking at the baseline.
Yeah.
So as long as value is a big thing and then like a buzzword and like the strategy execution, we are here to make you successful, did that. And but like at the end of the day, what we are doing really,
Yeah.
and do you really want us? So I always ask this from my customers that do you still interested? Do you want us here or not? Um, are we really helping you?
Mm-hmm.
Out of 1 to 10, how much we are helping you? And they are saying like, oh, 2, bye. So, this is, yeah, just, I think that's simple.
It's interesting because you're right. We do talk about the concept of, small things. Like, I mean, everyone talks really big strategy and huge KPIs and metrics. And I know when we were doing some work together, your team and yourself created this really good list of KPIs that PMOs can use. That's all well and good. But sometimes I feel like it's the small things. So exactly what you described in terms of the relationship, asking a simple question like a GP, like a doctor would ask. One of the other measures that I've seen firsthand recently that I think is really worth calling out is obviously in the PMO, depending on what we're doing, particularly when we're running, large programs of work where we're supporting delivery and we're trying to make sure all these things are happening. Sometimes I find that we have to communicate a lot of messages, and you've got to put meetings in place, you've got to bring people together, you have to get awareness, educate, etc., etc., etc. And I don't know about you, but I find that the more complex the program, the more meetings the PMO has to set up, and I find I set up a lot. I reckon a really good measure that's so simple is how many times in those meetings, what's the turnout of people that turn up to your meetings? How many times can you simplify something so rather than making people get information in a way that suits you as the person running it, provide opportunities for them to come and be part of it, whether it's a knowledge share session or something. And I find the number of people that return to things like that is a really good metric because people are joining PMO sessions and PMO classes and training and all. That's a really good sign that you're doing a good job. So that's one of the small ones that I just feel like is really relevant, that I've seen recently that I think could maybe help some people as well.
Yeah, and the other thing is, yeah, we have like if you read KPI, like a practice guide, all the services has KPI. Yes, absolutely. So that's a norm.
Hmm.
Um, like, as a standard term when you're looking at it, you want to do the weight loss, there are specific KPI that you can measure against it. But it
Yes.
is up to you
Hmm.
that which one is related,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So the list is fantastic and it's really valuable to have a list of those KPIs, a list of like a kind of having a reference. But saying that, the art of the PMO is to find out what is fit for what,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
then that's the thing. One of the very like a very simple kind of like um, point or some of the things that you can see that this is they are moving. Um, I even found it simpler than even sitting in a meeting. I found it when your customers started saying, repeating your words
Mm.
and getting to that language
Hmm.
and getting to that discipline without them recognizing that they are following something
Yeah.
and they think that they are doing it by themselves,
Yes.
that those are the moments that I celebrate in my heart.
Yes. Yes.
Although I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying like,
Yeah.
yes, they got it.
Yes.
That's the point. I'm saying, yes. You know,
100%. Yes.
I I got to the point of like, and then I learned that a lot. Um, it's not about knowing, it's about doing and
Hmm.
being.
Hmm.
So it is very important that if I am a PMO, I am really a PMO in life,
Hmm.
right? As
Hmm.
I'm saying, like my my little one, my 5 years old, has a Kanban board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she plans her things like she's doing what she has done. Or I always like I was working in Sydney maintenance contract, which is one of the main contracts in Sydney and NSW for doing the infrastructure and intelligent transport systems maintenance works, which is a very huge, busy, like high volume portfolio. And then I always have my diary in my hand, and then I had a block of the timing, and then like the discipline of putting the like ticking off the habits. And they were making a joke of me. I said like 2 weeks later, Wednesday, what is your lunch? And I was telling them that, like, for example, I don't know, masama beef. And then they're saying, ah, ha, ha, look at that. Uh, it's all about doing and being, that consistency, that repeating,
Mm-hmm.
that when your customers are repeating what you're saying, are looking at the discipline as a way that is their habit,
Mm-hmm.
this is a time that you're successful, no
Yes.
matter what. That's a
Yes.
value.
Yeah, 100%. It's so interesting you say that because I just recall like we talk a lot at AMO about like the AMO way and capability in a box and blah blah blah. But when we work with clients, similar to you, we have our own models and methods and processes and tools, etc. But we don't go in there and say, hey, we're going to use the AMO way and we're going to do this. We're going to, because one, that's going to overwhelm them. It's not
Yes.
right fit, right time. But we use it to run projects and the programs and do the governance and all that. And then by the end of it, they're actually going, oh, I thought we were going to use this or we use that. And it's like, we have been the whole way through. But you tailor what is needed. And I think PMOs really struggle. I see many of them go from one organization, lift and shift what they did there and bring it to another, but the industry might be different, the maturity might be different, the experience might be
Language.
different, the language is different, the
Yes.
acronyms are different, and it's not the right fit all the time. It took me a long time to figure that out. It also took me a long time to figure out that it's not about me as the PMO leader, it's about those that we support, being the stakeholders and the delivery teams and the executives and things. So it's a really timely reminder, I think, the right fit, the right
Yes.
time, the right place, not assuming that it's a one size fits all.
Yeah, this is another one, the fit for purpose, strategy execution, value delivery, fit for
Yeah.
purpose. But when you're
Yeah.
getting into the like a really DNA of these words, implementing these words is the art of the PMO.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody can be a PMO then.
100%. And not everyone can be a entrepreneur. They can try,
Nope.
but it doesn't suit some people. My husband would not be a good entrepreneur, and nor does he have any interest in doing so. Likewise, I think there's some really talented project management professionals that would be exceptionally good at delivering projects and programs, but some of them have gone into PMO and they've failed. And likewise, there's some that are really good in PMO, but have not come across to projects very well because they're better at the governance and the oversight and the reporting and the control and the conduit between stakeholders. So I think there's definitely a blurred line there that people probably just need to be a bit more aware of. I on that point wanted to ask if you think about the mindset behind change, which is necessary for a PMO leader. What do you think one mindset shift that they could make to make them have a bigger, more meaningful impact in the organizations they're supporting?
A lot, my friend.
Pick your favorites.
Um, the thing is like there is no right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say that, and I truly believe on that one. Although my perfectionist Amireh um comes up, my overthinking Amireh comes up and say like, no, 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 this is not right, this is not good. So but I not started, kind of like when I saw the success, which is the time that my customers are thinking um, differently, is the time that I put that in my head, that being biased.
Mm.
And instead of talking about, no, you should not go this way, we should go that way, I started to talk about risk. I started to talk about what are the consequences
Mm-hmm.
and how we are seeing it. And saying that, Fatima, it's very interesting that I learned that more from Jasmine, my 5 years old, in terms of logic, and then bringing that logic together and then saying, because of this fact, and because of this fact, this is the consequences. So, and then when you're talking about fact, consequence, then they you're activating the thinking cells instead of bringing the gates up when
Mm.
you are talking in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
saying like, hey, it is okay if you're not doing that. These, I saw that this is happening and that is getting as a cause of it. So this is gonna be the consequence of it. How much are you ready for it?
Mm.
So and then like that mentality of being patient
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like, I don't know, being patient and being careful about your customers is very important.
Mm.
It's like a function of PMO is a very, very customer care function.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not ordering, it's not managing, it's leading,
Mm-hmm.
it's enabling, which we are always making a mistake of the role of the PMOs.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the thing. I had a video of the good, bad, ugly. So in some of the cases, we can see um, that, hey, guys, it's okay. It's not a rank or writing in PMO space.
Mm.
It's all about the logic, the fact, the consequences
Mm.
as well. So that's my takeaway. Everybody
You
has one.
you're very good at blending creativity and structure, which you just described very well. And you just talked about risk. And I know there's probably people out there that want to make sure they've got the structure and maintain all of that and provide all of the sometimes rigidity, but sometimes adaptiveness. But how do you bring creativeness into that process where a lot of PMO is about governance? How do you bring creativity into governance?
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like I think that's a natural uh thing coming. But uh saying that, I started painting when I was 9 years old, 9, 10 years old. Um, and I was me and my brother started painting together. I was the one that painting whatever they were giving me. So if they gave me this, I was painting this. But my brother was the one that when they gave this to him, he was painting whatever he thought that this can be look like.
Okay, okay.
So he was adding that imagination into it.
Yes.
Um, saying that, that helped me to say, like, it is okay if you just come up with something that is not within the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to Australia and beautiful Wayne put me in front of people to teach them project management. I always say that my main goal was people sitting in my room are not asking me a question. So my target was zero question because I I was struggling of like my English wasn't that good. So I started using that painting and kind of creativity, bringing the storytelling and then painting for them on the wall, like a characters moving together and then telling the story the way that they do not have any question.
Mm.
Um, so kind of like limitation, but also um, thinking that you are okay if you do the things another way around,
Mm-hmm.
um, are getting together and then bring that creativity in. And then moving forward in PMO space, I can see that we are all about those presentation, those ugly charts and things. So my artistic eye normally is a person who like I'm curious about like I'm very fussy about what coloring I'm putting in, what are the colors, how they are setting together, how it comes to to the eyes, is it pretty or not?
Hmm.
Um, and then I met Paul Telling from Visual Storytellers. So we tied together hands, and then we started bringing that art and creativity into PMO space. So now, specifically for those customers that they have a lot of resistance of seeing the journey or a lot of resistance of seeing the plan, we actually convert the plan into posters to the story.
Mm.
Like in one of the posters that we created, like part of the roadmap, the people are around the campfire. And it was very interesting that we gave that poster to our customer as a PMO roadmap. And they didn't remember what was that roadmap. They remembered the poster, like, oh, that one, that snail that is moving slow is a reflection of the slow delivery. And then getting to around the campfire, or it was a character looking at outside to the city, showing that the vision that they can have and the visibility that they can have behind the long trees. So they remember those, and we are as a human, like we love that. Look at the your iPhone. The time that Steve Jobs put the iPhone together was by art. It
Hmm.
wasn't technology, right?
No.
So yeah, it's
I've seen some of your work in that. I've seen your little comic that you created. I've seen some of the artistic, and actually it was one of our early conversations that you inspired me to take a bit more of a proactive lens and make things a little bit less boring for some customers, because you're right, governance can be quite boring. So bringing some of that creativity in art is actually really a really good idea, and I definitely learned a lot more about that from you. So keep up the good work there. It's definitely inspiring customers and people like myself. So it's
thank
really
you.
cool. People should
The
check
other
out.
thing I can bring it in, I'm sure you and your customers, your listeners are gonna love.
Mm.
But I had to attend on a stand-up comedy course
Oh,
to
okay.
learn how to take the moment and then create some fun out of it, specifically in English. So that was very helpful. I was the worst student in the class, but I learned a lot.
Well, I didn't do comedy, although I think that's a really good idea. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the doctor, the specialist they had, he's a heart doctor and a heart surgeon, and he was saying that if you can even pretend laugh or get into laughing clubs where they just laugh, not because anything's really funny, but it stimulates the vagus nerve, and that I think can make a really good impact to your health as well. So that's really smart. I think that's good. I think I did a drama course once to learn how to do presentations better. That was so long ago. But yeah, I think these sorts of things would be so great in these organizations. I think it's a really good way to bring fun, and I know that when I've worked in different teams, it's really hard sometimes, but there is that resistance, and you got to find different things. There is some organizations where some of that artistic stuff is just not going to go well.
No,
Um, in some mining teams, for example, I've seen change management go very badly, where they've attempted dinosaur stickers, for example, and that didn't go very well. Where
no.
in other organizations, it makes a lot of sense. So I think you've got to go back to what you said earlier around the right thing for the right time and the right people. So I think that's it's a really good thing that you guys are doing. So well done on that.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
just we're getting close to the end of our conversation. I did want to circle to a couple of things. So there's been a lot of changes in the PMO community with the work that you and the team are doing as part of the PMO-GA Global Hub, and then the APAC Hub that you've set up, and then you being part of the well, being the chair for the Global Project Management Conference. And so I wanted to kind of ask a two-part question. So one of them is, What are you seeing are the biggest trends right now or coming up in PMO from all of that community that you're part of? And then I wanted to touch on what's changed in the PMO value ring and explain a bit more about that for people that don't know what it is. So maybe if you could answer those two, maybe we start with the GPMF,
Mm.
and the general community. What's the vibe? What's the trends that you're seeing and hearing?
You see, Fatima, I was telling you like about the culture and about the people mindset. Um, like I can see the Global Project Management Forum was an amazing opportunity. I'm not saying that was easy job. It was a huge job out of my little comfort zone. So I actually, at the time that I was doing it, I was like, what if it goes bad? Because it was huge. I was
Yes.
dealing with 500 thought leaders, selecting them, saying no to someone, and then bringing them along, and then also going with very new way of setting up the conference was was challenging. I was not alone. I had a committee team that were supporting, but the whole design of the program was from our side. And um, first of all, huge, I can say, appreciation to Bader Borshid for his trust. And the way he trusted me and then gave me the stage to make a decision on the go, um, and tweak and pivot at the time was very amazing. But what I also saw that is um, my friends in Australia, it's not a time to sit down and then just watching to see where the world is going. This train is moving. You
Mm-hmm.
want it or you don't want it. You need to get into this train. Um, PMO space is moving. Now, PMO is not a little child anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It is now growing up. It is
Mm-hmm.
now stepping into the place that is talking about its identity.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at the case studies um, from the PMO Global Awards, and I'm so proud to say all of us in PMO. So like this is the only homework that we all committed to do is to be the judge in a PMO Global Award. It's we can see that the and the ones that are really, really, truly embed into their business and they are part of the business, they are part of the hands and the head and the eyes of the business are the successful one. Saying that the PMOs that are truly the partner of the business are the ones that are playing the best role of the PMO and they are actually acting on their own right position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the winner of this year, it was very interesting looking at them from the different region. Um, I have to work a lot, put a lot of effort to encourage Australian companies to throw their hat into the ring. And unfortunately, we haven't like the the most successful one was this year that get into the semi-final, but we are not getting up. It means it has a lot of saying that we had a lot to do. We had a lot to understand. And this is not a message for only PMO people. This is a message for the business that understand that not everybody can be a PMO. Um, and a good PMO is the one that is your right hand to make a decision. It's your right hand to report to the board, bring that visibility of the risks and what is happening in the business, what is going on, not only on the project, to your board. Expect these sort of things from your PMO, like what master schedule and this kind of stuff. They are required, but this is not the maximum potential of a good PMO.
Mm-hmm.
So the trend is moving. The PMOs are getting very much stronger. You can see with the strategic movement of the PMI of buying PMO Global Alliance. And now we can see such a person like Americo Pinto. Now it is sitting and working with PMI to strengthen this profession is a very good opportunity to recognize PMO as a specific profession in project management, which I'm so proud to say that the PMO-CP, which is not new, right? Like we launched PMO-CP in 2018 in Tesla showroom in Australia, right? That was the time that America came to Australia. So PMO-CP is a great certification that is going to give you the fundamentals and the knowledge of what can PMO be about. You ask a very good question, like in terms of the PMO-GA APAC hub, we are one of the hand of the PMO-GA Global, that which we are actually reporting to America and the global leaders in the PMO space. We are working hands in hands with the PMI chapters. We are setting up and delivering some webinars and some study groups and support as a knowledge management, as an expert to the project management community. The other thing that we have in our roadmap is we are bringing the cases from the global PMO award, and we will have simulating the judging sessions for the people so that you can join. There will be discussion about that specific case, so you can learn from your peers as well. So the main vision of the PMO-GA APAC Hub is to connect PMO community together and empower PMO professionals to learn from each other. Which I know, like the APAC Hub finalist, the APAC finalist for PMO Global Award is actually a very strong applicant, and they have done an amazing job moving forward and like maturing their PMO in their business. In terms of the PMO value ring, I go back to the main concept and the core of the value ring, which is customer. So there are a lot of approach in terms of setting up a PMO. I have, like in one of the discussion panel that I was there, the question was, what is the best and the must service that the PMO should have? And I said, like, I don't know. It really depends on the customer of that PMO. And the facilitator was kind of like, do you really know PMO? And like then they were talking about, no, schedule management training is the must, methodology framework. And I was like, no, guys, it really depends on. And then
yes,
when we are talking about the value is really what is matter to that business and what is
yes,
matter to that customer.
yes.
So the first version of the PMO value ring was mainly focusing on the customer, asking the expectations, and then translating those expectations into the services, and then talking about when these services you can expect to see the values, and then how you can, in terms of the scenarios that you have in your business, how these services can address those services. There were some indicators in that PMO value ring version 1, which were like a capability indicator, adherence indicator, adherence indicator, which were mainly saying what my customer wants, how much I can make them happy. So what is the reality and how much I'm able to make them happy. Specifically, you cannot keep everybody happy, right? How much I am capable of delivering these services, and what is the maturity of these services currently in the business and where I want to get to. The PMO value ring version 2, which is now in a PMO practice guide, in a simple word, is looking at breaking down those 8 steps from the version 1 to 10 steps around the customer, but is also looking at another 3 layers outside of the customer connection, like the core of the customer and those 10 steps, is actually looking at itself as a PMO as an entity, looking at what are the PMO's strategy, what is the PMO design, and what is the PMO governance. And then also in the next layer, which is a broader layer, is looking at the four aspects of the organization, of the maturity of the organization, culture of the organization, structure of the organization. So it is trying to embed
Mm.
all the elements that are defining that function. So I'm going back to your first discussion that you have about the operational role, moving from operational role to the business role, is actually looking at to glue all those elements together
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, okay, um, if in the previous version was were about the PMO to identify the reality, is
Mm-hmm.
now there are different domains that you can put the reality and then having a factful and like a reliable conversation with your stakeholders. So the new PMO-CP is mainly looking at this new wheel, which is still customer is in the middle. There are different phases that your customer is going, different steps you're taking through, and also what is the structure of the PMO and how this PMO is fitted into that business body.
Mm. So it's interesting because the way you just described that goes back to your first point, which is the PMO is growing up. It is
Yes.
baby anymore. I'm seeing my toddler
Ah,
growing up, and I'm like, wow, soon she'll be in primary school and high school and all of those sorts of things. So I agree with you completely on that point. Probably a little bit less than you, but about 20 years now since I first got into the concept of this project space and PMO space, and I've never in my 20 years seen it as prominent and as
yes.
important and as purposeful as it is these days. And I think we have to give some, definitely give some credit to many people,
Yes.
Americo, Joe in the US, Laura,
Laura,
the
yeah.
UK team. There's so many really strong,
Aileen,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. So many really strong PMO thought leaders that are not called thought leaders because they've decided to call themselves that, but people like us reflect our views and call them that. And they, like ourselves and many others, have done so much tireless work to bring
Yes.
PMO to the strategic table. And so I'm really excited to see what comes of this, to see more. I'll share notes about the PMO-CP, the Certified Practitioner certification. We'll share more about GPMF as well. And I think that people will get a lot of value from looking into those things, particularly as a really good, I guess, benchmark, particularly because of how many people have been involved in the original creation and then obviously the updated version. So thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
Fatima, that my pleasure. But like the thing is, Fatima, at the moment among PMO, specifically PMO practitioner, I'm not talking about whoever is a PMO, right?
Yes.
I have a lot of conversation with so many people. Okay, what do you do? I am project manager, I'm program manager, I'm a PMO, I do business analysis, I do this. And I'm talking about those ones that are like live and breathe like yourself in PMO space. I always say that to people like, hey, I don't know anything else, but I know PMO very well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are all responsible to educate the businesses on what a good PMO is.
Mm-hmm.
Because although we are seeing that the PMOs are getting yes, partner with the business, yes, they are sitting in a strategy, they have a strategy seat, they have a decision making word. Um, but it is going back to that trust that their business trusted them and gave them the stage.
Yes.
Um, if you have the best PMO in the world, like Amireh and Fatima, and you don't give them a stage and you don't let them to speak, nothing is going to happen. So it's a two ways work that I like to invite like a businesses. And then I started that honestly, Fatima, like now I'm not talking to PMO community anymore because I know the PMO community has already a lot of resources to talk to learn from. I'm talking to the people outside of this bubble and telling them, like, guys, these are the things that can be existed and can connect the dots together in your business. So
Mm.
when we get to the point that the business, and then there's the stakeholders, the decision makers are talking about it like that, then this is a success point. If you have that, like if we have a CEO and saying like, I want to see the PMO manager today to help me to answer this to the board, that PMO manager is a gold. Like,
Yeah, 100%. That's such a good target to aim for. It's probably starting in some places, but more and more recognition is needed. And I think you're right. There's an abundance of things out there for leaders to learn from, and those that are up and coming as well to follow in footsteps of people like yourself, because you've done so much for the PMO community. You're prolific online. You've done amazing work with your retention of your clients. You've done great work voluntarily, mind you, with a lot of the work you do globally. And it's just such a good recognition of that by having the trust of the global team and PMI to put the APAC hub in your hands, and it's in a good place. So can't wait to see and be part of that and evolve as it comes in the coming years as well.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your words.
You're very welcome. Now, our closing tradition, you've probably already covered it. Our last question, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners, a call to action or a piece of advice or a question to ponder before we wrap up today?
The only thing is, at the end of the world, each single of us is responsible to make this world a better place to live. So no matter if you're a PMO, project manager, whoever, but we all are contributing to make this place a better place. Just do your best. That's it. So I do my best and my own strengths. So yeah, let's put hands together and make it work.
Love it. On that note, thank you. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please share this with someone or rate it if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and to stay up to date with all things Agile ideas, go to our website www.agilemanagementoffice.com. I hope you've been able to learn, feel, or be inspired today. Until next time, what's your Agile idea?